Have you ever walked into a room and noticed someone who just seems to light it up? Maybe it's the way they smile, the warmth in their voice, or the way they make everyone around them feel at ease. It's not about looks or age, it's something deeper, something that draws people in naturally. And here's the secret: that kind of magnetism isn't something you're born with, it's something you can cultivate no matter your age. In fact, after 65, you have a unique advantage. You've lived through decades of experiences, challenges, and triumphs that shape who you are. All you need are a few subtle traits to bring out the irresistible qualities that are already within you. Now I know what you might be thinking. Isn't being irresistible something for younger people? Not at all. Attractiveness isn't just about youth, it's about energy, presence, and the way you connect with others. These qualities don't fade with age, they grow stronger when you nurture them. And the best part, you don't have to try too hard. The traits we're going to talk about today are simple, natural, and easy to incorporate into your daily life. By the end of this video, you'll have 6 tools to help you become someone who naturally draws people in, leaving them feeling happier just for having spent time with you. Let's start with the first trait: authenticity. There's something incredibly magnetic about someone who is unapologetically themselves. Think about the people you enjoy being around the most. They're probably the ones who don't pretend to be anything they're not. After 65, you've earned the right to let go of the need to impress others or fit into molds that don't suit you. Authenticity is about embracing who you are, quirks and all, and letting that shine through in how you interact with the world. When you're genuine, people can sense it, and they're drawn to it because it feels safe and real. So how do you practice authenticity? Start by paying attention to how you show up in conversations. Are you saying what you truly think and feel, or are you holding back to avoid rocking the boat? Being authentic doesn't mean being blunt or harsh. It means sharing your thoughts and feelings in a way that's honest but kind. For example, if someone asks how you're doing, instead of defaulting to "I'm fine," share a little more. Maybe you had a great morning walk or struggled with something challenging. Letting people see the real you creates a deeper connection. Over time, this habit of openness will make you more approachable and memorable. The second trait is curiosity. Have you ever met someone who seems genuinely interested in everything, from the latest technology to the stories of strangers? That kind of curiosity is like a magnet. It makes people feel valued and heard, and it keeps your own mind sharp and engaged. After 65, it's easy to fall into routines or assume you've seen it all, but staying curious opens doors to new experiences and relationships. Plus, it's fun. Imagine learning something new every day, whether it's a fact, a skill, or simply understanding another person's perspective. One of the easiest ways to practice curiosity is by asking questions and really listening to the answers. Next time you're chatting with someone, whether it's a family member, a neighbor, or a cashier at the store, ask them about their day, their hobbies, or their thoughts on something you're both interested in. Follow up with more questions based on their responses. This shows that you're not just waiting for your turn to speak, you're truly invested in the conversation. People love feeling like their words matter, and when you give them that gift, they'll want to spend more time with you. Now let's move on to the third trait, which builds on curiosity: active listening. While curiosity gets the conversation started, active listening keeps it going. It's one thing to hear what someone says, but it's another to truly absorb it, reflect on it, and respond thoughtfully. Active listening is a powerful way to show respect and care, and it's something that becomes even more important as we get older. In a world where so many people are distracted or rushing through life, taking the time to listen deeply sets you apart. To practice active listening, focus on the person speaking without letting your mind wander. Make eye contact, nod occasionally, and use small verbal cues like "I see" or "That's interesting" to show you're engaged. If something they say sparks a thought or question, bring it up later in the conversation. For instance, if a friend mentions they've been gardening, you might say, "You mentioned gardening earlier. What's your favorite plant to grow?" These little moments of connection remind people that you're present and genuinely interested, in what they have to say. Now that we've covered authenticity, curiosity, and active listening, let's shift gears a bit. The next trait might surprise you, but it's one of the most powerful ways to attract people naturally. It's all about humor and lightheartedness. Let's explore why laughter is such a universal connector and how you can infuse more joy into your interactions. Humor and lightheartedness might not be the first things that come to mind when you think about attracting people, but they're incredibly powerful tools. Think about it. When was the last time you spent time with someone who made you laugh? Chances are, you left that interaction feeling lighter, happier, and more connected. Laughter is like a universal language. It breaks down barriers, eases tension, and creates bonds between people. And here's the best part. Humor doesn't have to mean telling jokes or being the life of the party. It's about finding joy in everyday moments and sharing that joy with others. After 65, life can sometimes feel weighed down by responsibilities, health concerns, or even loneliness. But humor reminds us not to take everything so seriously. It helps us find the silver linings, even in challenging situations. For example, maybe you're learning how to use a new smartphone app and keep making mistakes. Instead of getting frustrated, you could laugh at yourself and say, well, at least I'm keeping my brain sharp trying to figure this out. That kind of self-deprecating humor isn't just endearing, it shows resilience and a positive outlook, both of which are naturally attractive qualities. So how do you bring more humor into your life? Start by looking for opportunities to smile or laugh, even in small ways. Watch a funny movie, read a lighthearted book, or reminisce about funny memories with friends or family. When you're talking to others, don't shy away from playful teasing or sharing amusing stories. Just be mindful of timing and tone. Humor should uplift, not hurt. A well-timed joke or a witty observation can turn an ordinary conversation into something memorable. Plus, laughter is contagious. When you share a laugh with someone, you create a moment of connection that stays with both of you long after the conversation ends. Now let's talk about another subtle trait that draws people in: kindness. We've all met people who radiate warmth and generosity, and it's impossible not to feel drawn to them. Kindness is one of those qualities that never goes out of style, and it becomes even more impactful as we age. After 65, you've likely accumulated wisdom and perspective that allow you to see the bigger picture. You understand what really matters in life, and often, what matters most is how we treat each other. Kindness doesn't have to be grand gestures. It's often the little things that leave the biggest impression. Holding the door open for someone, offering a sincere compliment, or simply asking how someone's day is going can brighten their day in ways you might not realize. These small acts of kindness ripple outward, creating a sense of goodwill that comes back to you tenfold. People remember how you make them feel, and if you consistently make them feel valued and cared for, they'll want to be around you. One way to practice kindness is by paying attention to the needs of those around you. Maybe a neighbor is struggling with yard work, or a friend seems unusually quiet during a conversation. Offering help without being asked, or simply checking in to see if they're okay shows that you care. And don't underestimate the power of gratitude. Telling someone thank you or expressing appreciation for something they've done can deepen your connection and reinforce the positivity in your relationship. Kindness is a gift that keeps on giving, both to others and to yourself. The next trait builds on kindness, but it's a bit more personal: vulnerability. Now, I know vulnerability might sound intimidating, especially if you're used to putting on a brave face or handling things on your own. But here's the thing: vulnerability is where true connection happens. When you open up and share a piece of yourself, the good, the bad, and the messy, you give others permission to do the same. This creates a space where authentic relationships can flourish. Vulnerability doesn't mean oversharing or burdening others with your struggles. It's about being honest about your feelings and experiences in a way that invites understanding and empathy. For instance, if you're having a tough day, instead of brushing it off with a quick "I'm fine," you might say, I've been feeling a little overwhelmed lately, but talking to you always helps." That kind of openness fosters trust and deepens your bond with the other person. It also shows strength, not weakness, because it takes courage to let someone see the real you. To practice vulnerability, start small. Share a story about a challenge you overcame or a lesson you learned along the way. Be willing to admit when you don't have all the answers or when you need support. People are naturally drawn to those who are relatable and human, and vulnerability is what makes us relatable. When you let others in, you create opportunities for meaningful connections that enrich your life and theirs. Now that we've explored how humor, kindness, and vulnerability can make you irresistibly magnetic, let's move on to two final traits that tie everything together. These qualities are all about confidence and presence, how you carry yourself and show up in the world. Let's dive into why these traits matter and how you can cultivate them to enhance your natural charm. Let's talk about confidence, the kind that comes from within and radiates outward without needing to say a word. Confidence isn't about being the loudest person in the room or having all the answers. It's about carrying yourself with a quiet assurance that says, "I'm comfortable in my own skin and I have something to offer." After 65, you've lived through enough highs and lows to know who you are and what you stand for. That self-awareness is magnetic because it shows others that you're grounded, reliable, and unshaken by life's ups and downs. One of the most beautiful things about confidence is that it doesn't require perfection. In fact, true confidence often comes from embracing your imperfections and owning them. Maybe you're not as quick on your feet as you used to be, or maybe technology still feels like a foreign language. But instead of apologizing for these things, you can acknowledge them with grace and humor. For example, if someone comments on how long it takes you to send a text message, you might smile and say, "Well, I'm proof that good things take time." That kind of lighthearted acceptance makes you relatable and endearing. To build confidence, focus on celebrating your strengths rather than dwelling on perceived weaknesses. Think about what you're proud of, whether it's raising a family, building a career, or simply navigating life with resilience, and let that pride shine through. Stand tall, make eye contact, and speak with intention. These small physical cues signal to others that you're present and engaged. And remember, confidence isn't just about how you look, it's about how you feel. When you carry yourself with poise and self-assurance, people naturally gravitate toward you because they sense your inner strength. Now let's move to the final trait, presence. Presence is closely tied to confidence, but it's more about how fully you show up in each moment. It's the ability to be *here* right now without letting distractions pull you away. People who exude presence listen deeply, respond thoughtfully, and seem completely attuned to the world around them. They don't rush conversations or check their phones mid-sentence. They give their full attention, which makes others feel valued and respected. After 65, cultivating presence becomes even more important because it allows you to savor the richness of life. Instead of worrying about the past or fretting over the future, presence invites you to immerse yourself in the joy of the present moment. Whether you're sharing a meal with loved ones, watching the sunset, or simply enjoying a quiet cup of tea, being fully present amplifies the beauty of everyday experiences. And when you bring that same mindfulness to your interactions with others, it creates a powerful connection. People notice when you're truly there with them, not just physically, but emotionally, and it leaves a lasting impression. To practice presence, start by slowing down. Take a deep breath before entering a conversation or stepping into a new environment. Notice the details, the tone of someone's voice, the colors in the room, the way sunlight filters through the windows. If your mind starts to wander, gently bring it back to the moment. Over time, this habit of mindfulness will help you engage more deeply with the people and world around you. And don't underestimate the power of touch points like smiling warmly or offering a firm handshake. These small gestures convey attentiveness and care. Now that we've covered all 6 traits, authenticity, curiosity, active listening, humor, kindness, vulnerability, confidence, and presence, you might be wondering how to weave them together into your daily life. The key is consistency. You don't need to master all of these qualities overnight. Start by focusing on one or two that resonate most with you and gradually incorporate the others as they become second nature. Remember, none of these traits exist in isolation. They work together to create a tapestry of warmth, openness, and magnetism that draws people to you naturally. Here's the truth: being irresistible after 65 isn't about changing who you are. It's about enhancing the best parts of yourself and letting them shine. It's about showing up authentically, engaging with curiosity, and connecting with kindness. It's about finding joy in laughter, strength in vulnerability, and grace in confidence. And above all, it's about living fully in the moment and appreciating the incredible gift of your life experience. If any of these traits inspired you or reminded you of someone special in your life, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Sharing your thoughts not only helps others, but also strengthens our sense of community. And if you found this video helpful, please take a moment to like it and subscribe to the channel. We're here to provide practical advice and encouragement to help you thrive at every stage of life. Here to embracing the qualities that make you uniquely irresistible. Here to forging deeper connections, spreading joy, and living with purpose. And most importantly, here's to knowing that your age is an asset, not a limitation. You have so much to offer, and the world is better because of it. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.